So today in this session we are going to discuss about the differential control volume analysis. So our primary topic here will again prove the continuity equation which we have established in integral control volume analysis previously using this Reynolds transport theorem coupled with conservation of mass, and there we have applied, if you remember, the Leibniz theorem and Gauss divergence theorem, and we have got the form that del rho del t plus divergence of rho into V is equal to 0. So the same we are going to actually again establish in differential form considering a differential control volume. So the topic is differential control volume analysis. So differential control volume means here the control volume itself is of differential size, right? Like the volume in Cartesian coordinate will be dx, dy, dz. So we will mostly focus on Cartesian coordinate, and therefrom we will get this general form in terms of vector operators like divergence, and once we have converged to some general vector operator like divergence, we can easily generate the cylindrical coordinate form or spherical coordinate form. So here let's consider this coordinate axis x, y, z and a point P at which we are going to apply the conservation of mass. But point has got no volume, so definitely centering the point we will consider a differential control volume. Definitely the diagram is not in scale, it is much enlarged. So you see the mimic structure or the mimic geometry for this Cartesian coordinate is a rectangular parallelepiped, and the sides are, this is dy, this is dx and this is dz. And at the center, the central point is P. You see that in Eulerian paradigm, everything is a field variable. So at the center, let's consider the values of the pertinent hydrodynamic quantities for this conservation of mass are rho and the three different components of velocity vector. So here we are considering the velocity vector in the same representation uy, vj plus wk. So at the center, the values of this mentioned variable are rho, u, v and w, right? So over this specific control volume, if I apply conservation of mass, so essentially we will get that 0 is equal to del t. Here we don't have to put the integral because itself the size is differential. So it will be rho into dv plus, next there was surface integral or closed surface integral over the control surface, but here we are not writing the surface integral, we will write the summation of this term rho v dot dA over the three faces x, y and z, right? So that is the form of Reynolds transport theorem converted to a differential control system or control volume. So here you see that if we know what will be this term, like del t rho into dv will be simply del t rho into dx dy into dz. Now the control volume is a fixed region of space, so dx, dy and dz, that product will remain constant, it will not be changing with time. So we can write this as del rho del t into dx, dy and dz. So next, what about this term? Now simply if I try to write it for x directional faces. Means the front face and the back face. These are the two x directional faces because these two faces they are having perpendicular along positive x and along negative x. So these are two x directional faces. Similarly, the right and the left side faces they are y directional faces, and top and bottom they are z directional faces. So if I can solve for this quantity rho v dot dA summed over x directional faces only, by principle of induction it is expected that we can also calculate the term, similar term for y and for z direction. So for x direction, rho v dot dA. Now here comes the question that if at this central point, if it is the value is rho, the value is u, v and w are not pertinent because they are this y directional and z directional component. Here through this x directional faces, whatever flow we will have, actually it will be triggered by this x directional component. So here we should write it as rho into u, then x plus dx by 2, because the center has got a coordinate x, y, z. So frontal face, the x coordinate will be x plus dx by 2 multiplied by area, which is dy dz. Now on the back side, what will be the term? The term will be rho into u x minus dx by 2 into dy into dz, right? Because if the central point is of coordinate x, then the back, because this is dx, so the back will be at dx by 2 minus dx by 2, that is x minus dx by 2, and the front will be at x plus dx by 2. So, and this is outgoing flow, this is incoming flow. Why this is outgoing and this is incoming flow? Because whenever I write u as the x directional component, we always consider the chosen natural direction, positive direction of u will be along the positive direction of x. So u will be in this direction, right? U will be in this direction. So naturally at the back phase it will be inflow, on the front phase it will be outflow. And for inflow, we know the dot product will be negative, and for outflow the dot product will be positive. Why? Because here the area direction is this, and here the area direction is this. This the included angle is 0 degree, here the included angle is minus 180 degree. So obviously we are having here that rho into u at x plus dx by 2 minus rho into u at x minus dx by 2 whole bracket into dy into dz. Now rho and u both are changing actually. Here it's not only the fact that u is changing, rho is also changing. So you see that this term we can write that rho plus del rho del x into dx by 2 into u plus del u del x into dx by 2. So we are expanding about the value of rho and u at x, right, which are given values at this point. So this is, we are generating it via Taylor series expansion truncated not trunk this, we should Taylor series expansion up to linear term of dx only, right? So here it will be rho minus del rho del x dx by 2 into u minus del u del x into dx by 2 whole bracket into dy dz. So you see, if you expand, then you will get u into rho plus rho into del u del x into dx by 2 plus u into del rho del x into dx by 2. Then there will be a term of dx square which will neglect this and this product, and here it is minus u into rho, then minus minus plus rho into del u del x dx by 2, then minus minus again plus, then u into del rho del x dx by 2 plus the term of order dx square whole bracket dy dz. Right? So u rho and this u rho cancels out. This and this will add up. This and this will add up again. So you are getting rho into del u del x dx plus u into del rho del x dx into dy dz. So basically it is del del x of rho into u dx dy dz. So it is obvious that the term for y direction and term for z directions will be, for y direction this rho v dot dA will be obvious that del del y rho into v dx dy dz, and for z rho v dot dA will be del del z rho into w dx dy dz. Right? Now if I now replace this here, the final form becomes del rho del t into dx dy dz plus del del x of rho u dx dy dz plus del del y of rho v dx dy dz plus del del z of rho w into dx dy dz equal to 0. Right? And from here we can write it is del rho del t plus del del x of rho u plus del del y of rho v plus del del z of rho w equal to 0, and in the vector form it will be del rho del t plus del dot rho into velocity vector equal to 0. The same form we have obtained via integral analysis as well. So that is the continuity equation. You see that here, just like with the continuity equation, let's take an example of a GET question of 2 marks where we have to use this continuity equation. It is given that for an incompressible flow, x and y component of velocity vector, this is 2009 2 marks problem. X component of velocity vector 2 of x plus y, y component of velocity vector 3 of y plus z, where x, y, z are in meters, the velocity is in meter per second. Then the z component of velocity vector of the flow for the boundary condition Vz is equal to 0 at z is equal to 0. So it is given that at z is equal to 0, Vz is equal to 0, and the flow is incompressible. So del rho del t is equal to 0. So what is the continuity? Del u del x, or here as the notation changes we will write that del vx del x plus del vy del y plus del vz del z is equal to 0. Right? So from this given notation that, or given expression that Vx is equal to 2x plus y, so del Vx del x equal to 2, del Vy del y equal to 3 plus del Vz del z. So Vz is equal to minus of 5z plus c. Now you apply the boundary condition that at z is equal to 0, Vz is equal to 0. So my answer is Vz is equal to minus 5z as c is equal to 0 from here. Right? Let's solve some more gate questions which are not from continuity. Basically from this Newton's law of viscosity and all. Like this 2018 2 marks question. See, the shear rate, what is the statement? At a shear rate of 10 second inverse, shear rate, that is du dy equal to 10 second inverse, the apparent viscosity of a non-Newtonian liquid is found to be eta is 1 Pascal second. At the shear rate, second statement, du dy is equal to 100 second inverse, the apparent viscosity of the same liquid is 0.5 Pascal second. Right? If the liquid follows power law behavior, the apparent viscosity at a shear rate, shear stress. So we have to calculate that power law is given. Then what we have to find out? Eta we have to calculate at tau Ix is equal to 10 Pascal. Right? So you see that it is quite obvious that we have to calculate the K and N values. Like we know apparent viscosity is K into du dy mod to the power n minus 1. So it is 1 divided by 0.5 is equal to this 1 divided by 0.5, 10 to the power n minus 1 divided by 100 to the power n minus 1. Right? So from here you can solve n. Right? So once you get n you substitute in any of the equation, you will get k. And as you got k, now tau Ix is equal to k into du dy to the power n. So solve for this. Okay, so you will find here this du dy, knowing k and n, and from there solve beta as k into du dy mod to the power n minus 1. So that's the procedure. So there are many other questions. I will go on posting. So let's proceed with the further analysis of differential control volume. And definitely our next target will be to apply the conservation of or Newton's second law to a differential control volume. But whenever we are applying this Newton's second law on a differential control volume, there are certain aspects. Like, if I am not applying it coupled with Reynolds transport theorem, we consider that in discussion of the Reynolds transport theorem, you see that initially we have considered a situation where the system and the control volume, they are exactly having the same boundary, right? And that I have discussed through a diagram in relation to Reynolds transport theorem, that when T is equal to T0, the initial situation, and the system and control volume, they are exactly merging with each other, right? So that is the situation at T equal to T0. Here also we can think that though we have chosen a differential control volume, at some time or at any specific time interval or time, this system, which is a given mass, differential mass of fluid, is exactly fitting into that differential control volume we are thinking of. Now, in that case, if I directly write Newton's law, like force which is acting on that particle is equal to mass into acceleration. Acceleration of the particle, it is not the acceleration of the field, right? That is, acceleration expression for the field will be simply del v del t, but acceleration for a particle will be different. So if instead of going by Newton's law plus Reynolds transport theorem, in case of momentum balance analysis for a differential control volume, if we directly go for this application of Newton's law, we have to first understand some kinematic element of fluid particle, right? So our next topic of discussion is the kinematics or kinematic elements of fluid particle. Now you see, the kinematics is a branch of dynamics where we discuss only about the course of the motion, how to describe the motion without looking back into that root cause which is actually generating that motion, and that is force, right? So kinematics means we are discussing about the velocity, we are discussing about acceleration, we may be discussing, in case of fluid, we will be discussing about the rotational effect, that may be linear deformation, angular deformation, etc. Right? Because during the course of motion, definitely the fluid particle will deform, and that is basically the flow of fluid as I have mentioned. So here we will be thinking of this situation which are only pertaining to kinematics, not of force. So you see that in this Cartesian coordinate system x, y, z, if I think of a fluid like this, right, and this is the system at t equal to t0, and here we consider a differential control volume like this. So in its course of motion, it will be acquiring a shape like this, and the same differential control volume may be having a shape which is totally changed from the previous one, right? So this is the situation at T0 plus delta. So if I look into detail, then evidently it is difficult from a three-dimensional perspective to understand. So let's map it in 2D. What is the situation? Initially I am having this. Finally I am having this. Right. So it is a two-dimensional picture of the same three-dimensional incident. Now what are the elements? If I focus it, what are the elements? So immediately we can identify, actually this is the consequence of four different kinematic operators. What are they? First one is definitely translation, the second one is rotation, third is linear deformation, and fourth is angular deformation. So actually you see, first one, translation. Second one, rotation. Third, linear deformation. And fourth, it's angular deformation. So individual mode of this kinetic operators like translation, rotation, linear deformation and angular deformation we will now discuss separately. Right? So first, if I think of translation, and it is a translation of a fluid particle, remember, and in a sense it is we are talking about something which are in Lagrangian paradigm. So it's particles translation. Like if I have a streamline or path line, whatever, let's say it is a steady state, or if it is unsteady state, let's consider its path line only. So this is the position of a particle at x, y, z and time t. And here the particle will change its position to p plus, x plus dx, y plus dy, z plus dz at time t plus t. So this is vector r, position vector r, this is r plus dr. So this much is dr itself. Okay? So if I say that velocity of the particle at time t, so this is same as the field expression of velocity at x, y, z and t, because the particle is passing through the point P which has got the coordinate x, y, z, and the particle is passing at a time t. So V will be x, y, z and t. What is very important to understand, that whenever I am writing Vpt, it is Lagrangian velocity, whereas this one is Eulerian velocity. So velocity wise, Lagrangian term and the Eulerian term, they are same. Now, and why this is t? Because as we have discussed in the beginning of Reynolds transport theorem in relation to some partial derivative, that why this is t? Because here for a particle x, y, z, they are functions of time as we know it from the path line or particularly the path line equation. So explicitly for a particle, every variable will be a function of t alone, whereas Eulerian is a field-based representation. That means a velocity is expressed as a function of space, coordinate and time. So whenever the fluid is passing through the point P at time t and point P has got coordinate x, y, z, the Eulerian velocity at x, y, z and at time t will be same as that of Lagrangian velocity at time t, and that is basically the corroboration between the field-based approach and the particle-based approach. Right? So let's discuss about acceleration. What will be the acceleration of the particle? So acceleration of the particle will be dvp dt at t, and that is the total derivative of this, right? So obvious, it is very obvious that this total derivative, as v is a function of x, y, z and t, we have to operate via chain rule. So del v del x dx dt plus del v del y dy dt plus del v del z dz dt plus del v del t. So particulate acceleration AP, which is dv dt. So you see dx dt is nothing but u, dy dt is v, and dz dt is w. So we can write it as u del v del x plus v del v del y plus w del v del z plus del v del t. And in a more compact form we can write it as del v del t plus v dot grad of v, which is equal to the particulate acceleration, or this is dv dt, right? So you see this derivative dv dt, total derivative, and as it is a particulate derivative, in order to differentiate from this del v del t, we call it, or we represent it in terms of capital D dt. Right? Where this capital D dt, this operator is del del t plus v dot grad of this. So this capital this d dt, it's called material or particulate or substantial or Lagrangian derivative, right? And del del t is nothing but local derivative or Eulerian derivative. Okay, so in a sense you see that this is acceleration of a particle or Lagrangian acceleration. This is local acceleration at a specific point, how the velocity is changing. So this is Eulerian acceleration or local acceleration, and this term we have to understand in detail. It's called convective acceleration. Right? But before doing that, let's prove that why this u del v del x plus v del v del y plus w del v del z, why we have represented it as v dot grad v. Why we have represented it as v dot grad v, that is to be established. Now you see this v dot grad v in our new notation, vi, ei cap, then ej del del xj, vk, ek, then ei dot ej ek, which will be forming a dyad, and the scalar part is vi del vk del x. Now these two will undergo dot product, so you can write vi del vk del xj delta ij into ek. So vi del del xi vk ek, and vi del del xi, you see this is vi del of vector v del xi, so you can write it as v dot, or this is basically, if you split, it will be v1 del V del x1, V2 del V del x2, V3 del V del x3, and in old notation V1 is U, x1 is x, V2 is small v, x2 is y, V3 is small w, x3 is z. So the same as we have got here, right? So that's the formal proof that how we have replaced it as V dot grad. Now let's understand what is convective acceleration, right? So what is that convective acceleration? You see, the total acceleration which particle will undergo, it's equal to the local acceleration plus I have mentioned its convective acceleration. Let's say it is a steady state velocity field, right? A steady state velocity field. V is a function of x, y, z length. So obviously del V del t is equal to 0. Local acceleration is equal to 0 because at any point the velocity is not changing with time. Now we know as it is a divergent type of nozzle, this is a high velocity zone and this is a low velocity zone because the velocity, the cross section increases, so velocity must change. Now the flow is in this direction. So if I think the particle now is moving like this, moving from point 1 to point 2. Let's say tentatively this is the path line or something. Now at point 1, the particle has got low velocity, high velocity, because here the cross section is small. At point 2, the particle's velocity is large. Particle's velocity is small because the cross section is large, right? So particle's velocity as it moves from point 1 to point 2 decreases. However, at point 1, at this specific point, the velocity is not changing with time. Whatever particle passes through the point 1, it will assume the same velocity, which is the characteristic of that point, and that is not changing with time because it is a steady state field. So definitely we can say that from point 1 to point 2, the particle is undergoing some acceleration. So how come we are having acceleration whether locally the velocity is not changing? The reason is the particle is being convected from one velocity zone to another velocity zone, and that's why it has to adjust its velocity to match into that characteristic velocity of that specific zone. And this is called convective acceleration, right? So convective acceleration is, that's why appearing because the particle is being convected from one velocity region to another velocity region. Now, the working equation to find out this convective acceleration, we can definitely go for it. This is APX, which is del V del t plus V dot grad, right? So AP, as you see, it is del V del t plus V dot grad, right? Del V del t plus V dot grad. So APX is equal to del U del t plus U del U del x, because this term you see, this term is U del V del x plus V del V del y plus W del V del z, this term, right? So individually we should take the component U del x plus V del U del y plus W del U del z. APY is equal to del V del t plus U del V del x, V del V del y, W del V del z, and similarly APZ is equal to del W del t plus U del W del x plus V del W del Y plus W del W del Y. So this will be my working equation for finding this convective acceleration. Right? So let's now solve a gate problem. Where actually we have to find out the acceleration of a fluid particle. What is the problem statement? A steady flow field of an incompressible fluid, steady, so del V del T is 0, right? Rho constant, incompressible fluid. By the way, this is here is not being mentioned, probably it is 2008 or 2007 something. Okay, anyway, that is not the issue. The steady state flow field, 2 marks problem, of an incompressible fluid is given by V is equal to Ax plus By I cap minus Ay j cap, right? Where A is equal to 1 second inverse and B is equal to 1 second inverse. X, Y are in meters. The magnitude of acceleration AP, its magnitude in meter square per second, sorry, meter per second square, in meter per second square of the fluid particle at a point say T is equal to 1, 2. The options are 1, root 2, root 5, root 10. Right? So U we can understand upon substitution of A and B is equal to X plus Y. V is equal to minus of Y. Right? So here we will have APX, which is U del U del X plus V del U del Y. Because del U is not dependent on Z and neither it is dependent on T because it is a steady state. So this is X plus Y into 1 because del U del X is 1. Next plus minus Y del U del Y is 1. Right? V minus Y into del U del Y, that's also 1. So it is X plus Y minus Y, that is X. Now let's say APY. APY is what? U del V del X, V del V del Y. Right? So what is U? U is X plus Y. Del V del X, 0. Right? Because V is a function of Y only. Next, V minus Y, del V del Y minus 1. So it is Y only. Right? So AP, the magnitude is under root APX square plus APY square is under root x square plus y square. Now we substitute for the specific point AP mod at point P, which is 1, 2. So 1 square plus 2 square is equal to under root of 5. So option C is the correct answer. Right? So similar other types of problem also given, but it's basically all the same, because if you note this equation and we can solve it. But another point which is very, very important, like the perspective of material derivative. You see the material derivative, let's think it like this. I have a diverging channel, right? I have a diverging channel and rho is given as a function, some function of x, and this is x direction, right? And this is diameter d1, this is diameter d2, it is given. right? So u, this is x, this is y. U will also be some function of x and y if the flow is taking place in this direction. So if it is asked that how the density of a particle is changing, this is the change of density, or this is also x comma y, right? This is the change of density of the field. This is the change of velocity of the field. So if it is a change of density of the particle, we will operate with this material derivative. This you see, this material derivative we will operate. So del rho del t, capital ddt of rho is basically the rate of change of particles density, and that will be equal to del rho del t plus v dot grad of rho. And let's say v is equal to 0, say it's given, right? W equal to 0. So this, as rho is a function of x and y only, this is 0. And here we will have u into del rho del x. So particles rate of change of density at any point will be equal to u into del rho del x for that specific case. So similarly, this is valid for any property of the particle, like if the temperature instead is given and the velocity fields are given. Temperature field is given, velocity field is given, right? And you are asked to calculate that at a specific point how the temperature of the particle is changing at what rate. So you will be finding the material derivative, which is appropriately expressed as this. So you have to break it down and take the non-zero component, and therefrom you can calculate that how this density or the temperature or some any other property of that particle is changing with time, right? So that's all about the acceleration. That's all about the acceleration. So next we will discuss, in the next session we will discuss this rotation, linear deformation and angular deformation.